force you to stop. They won't. It's hard to see what the basis of compromise on that issue is.
Yes.
Whereas, like I say, Texas is willing to compromise.
Theirs is an evangelical faith.
Yeah.
And it's almost like 8th century Islamic, actually. What happens if we don't do this?
I think the polarization will get worse and worse and worse. And, I think public opinion could eventually come to a breaking point. I mean, I guess you'd have to say there's two possibilities. One is the red parts of the country they give up and they say, all right, we're never going to get out from under and there's nothing we can do. In which case, I think you'll see, and you and I have talked about this before, we've already seen a certain amount of decline in lots of ways in red America. I mean, life expectancy down, opioid crisis, jobs, all these things that happen. They induce hopelessness. They kind of suck the spirit out of areas, and they cease to thrive. I think that could happen if red America just feels like we've lost control of our destiny. Our rulers, are far off. You can't even petition them. They won't listen. They're going to do to us whatever they want to do. The other possibility is you could see some kind of, a real revolt. That is to say, people make over time repeated good faith efforts to resolve this question politically at the ballot box, if through compromise, and are just told over and over and over again, no. You could see a backlash that could take a number of forms. I think the reason why we should start talking about this is because that backlash will not be good.
Michael Anton, that conversation went on for nearly an hour. It's all on a brand new episode, Chuck across today on FoxNation.com, and well worth it, we think. So it turns out that when you go to Hungary, you make a lot of people in Washington mad. Why do they get so mad? They don't like the contrast with the country they've created? Really? It's interesting. A tiny country in the middle of Central Europe, 10 million people, an economy smaller than New York State. If you mention it, they're triggered. Well, think about why. Douglas Murray, next.
Larry Elder, here again for Relief Factor, a 100% drug-free supplement created by doctors to help people struggling with pain. Can 100% drug-free Relief Factor really help our own bodies prevent and even eliminate inflammation? I hear from very happy people every day who are no longer skeptical.
I first ordered Relief Factor because I was having a lot of pain in my left hand and my right knee, to the point where I wasn't able to play golf anymore. My daughter and son-in-law were coming down from Minnesota for Christmas, and I started taking it, I think, around December 10th, and in 2 days I could hold the club, and I was able to play golf with them. So, wonderful. I've become a believer.
I was skeptical at first, too, but now tens of thousands who've ordered the 3-week quick start at the discounted rate of just $19.95, well, they aren't skeptical any longer. Now they're believers, like I am, which is why I take Relief Factor every day. Just go to relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF.
This past school year has been filled with ups and downs, and like most parents, you may be worried your child isn't on track to fall. With the Becca Academy video lessons, your child will not only get back on track, they'll stay a step ahead. The Becca Spiral Learning Method constantly reinforces what has been taught, so they can retain more and not lose ground or confidence along the way. Becca is faith-based, easy to follow, and used by millions, and now it's the perfect time to try Becca for free. Go to Becca.com/free trial for 25 free hours of video lessons.
Attention farm, orchard, or vineyard workers who now suffer from Parkinson's disease.
If you worked on a farm, orchard, or vineyard and now suffer from Parkinson's, the herbicide paraquat may be to blame.
Call us right now. Your financial compensation may be substantial.
Call now, and in less than 2 minutes, you can find out if you may qualify.
Call 1-800-575-0606. That's 1-800-575-0606.
People everywhere living with type 2 diabetes are waking up to what's possible with Rybelsus. Rybelsus works differently than any other diabetes pill to lower blood sugar in all 3 of these ways. Increases insulin when you need it, decreases sugar, and slows food. The majority of people taking Rybelsus lowered their blood sugar and reached an A1C of less than 7. People taking Rybelsus lost up to 8 pounds. Rybelsus isn't for people with type 1 diabetes. Don't take Rybelsus if you or your family ever had medullary thyroid.
What up?
Or endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, or if allergic to it. Stop Rybelsus and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling on your neck, severe stomach pain, or an allergic reaction. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Tell your provider about vision problems or changes. Taking Rybelsus with a sulfonylurea or insulin increases low blood sugar risk.
I'll tell you something, Trev.
Nausea, vomiting, diarrhea,
This guy, Chris,
may worsen kidney problems. Wake up to what's possible with Rybelsus.
Angels and Dodgers. Well, Shohei Ohtani, that'd be pretty cool.
You may pay as little as $10 per prescription. Ask your
They're not playing this week. They're gonna save that for Labor Day. That's gonna be a Labor Day weekend thing, dude. They're not gonna put that on just a.
Unlike regular turmeric supplements, Quinoa Superior Absorption helps me get the full benefits of turmeric. The brand I trust is Quinoa.
Join the savvy customers who forget.
But it's a good call because you know why?
To access the info hidden behind parts counters.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna do. Get those really good series. You could have maybe scheduled it next time because next weekend you got NFL. And get this, those preseason games will still get big numbers compared to baseball games. You know?
And help prevent further muscle loss. Rejuvenate comes in single-serve packets or ready-to-drink bottles with 15 grams of organic plant protein. Maximize your workout with Rejuvenate to help prevent and reverse muscle loss. Win the race against aging with Rejuvenate.
When fire and water threaten your home.
That's like the first one, right? Man, nobody's playing.
Every step of the way in your
Nobody's going to play in that game. It depends if their tickets are free. If the tickets are free,
We Hungarians decided not to.
no, tell me what.
To mix up our society. That's the reason why they attack Hungary so hard, and that's the reason why my personal reputation is very bad. You know, I'm treated like the black sheep of the European Union personally.
That's Viktor Orban. He's the Prime Minister of Hungary. We came here this week to see what they've been doing to secure their borders, and it seems like a pretty happy little country. And how they do that? You know, it's worth getting outside where you grew up and see how the rest of the world does things. People in Washington had a heart attack that we would dare do that. We could give you a million examples, but we just got this one. Someone just sent this to me. This is a tweet from one of the dumbest ladies at the Washington Post.
Oh, my God.
But it's good because you're going to want to catch every line and see how deeply this amuses you. Quote, in Orban's Hungary, more than 90% of the media is controlled by the ruling party. Businesses are physically and legally harassed if they don't toe the party line. Elections are manipulated.
That means you have now sports books.
Does that sound like any place you know?
Hey, that means now you have sports books on these casinos. In these casinos now. They officially have sports books now where you can place bets and prop bets. Big money. That means you can bet football, everything. And get this, Trev. Think of this for a second. Wedged in between Jaguars, Buccaneers, Gator, Knoll. Wow, October, that's right for the football. That's just a little bit into the football season. Excuse me, by the way.
People who we don't know to walk into our country. And put that into some perspective. That year, almost a million.
Very perceptive, Stephen. Who'd you think I was going to have on? Don Lemon?
In the number of months. That's equivalent to something like 33 million illegal migrants coming through the southern border of the United States.
Can't bet on college teams yet. Wow. Okay. Is that Tucker Carlson I hear?
can't do that. And after
Yeah, he's in Budapest.
demonization of the country and the demonization, not
Wow.
legitimate criticism,
Steven
demonization
knows the
of
room.
people, started in
Is that
and
Tucker?
never stopped since.
You mean the most watched guy on cable
So
news?
it
Yeah.
almost sounds, listening to the president speak, people at the State Department, that they would like regime
Man's
change
ladies.
in Hungary. In fact, it doesn't
Oh,
sound
really?
like
You can bet college in Connecticut at the Mohegans?
because there is no evidence that Viktor Orban has
Oh,
won
okay.
the elections. You may not like Viktor Orban. A lot of people in Europe, a lot of people in America don't like him. But there is no
Oh, I would
evidence
never
that
listen to
he
the
won
CNN.
elections. So he is the legitimately elected leader, repeatedly elected leader of Hungary. And this extraordinary decision to just sort of decide that if you don't like somebody, if they're a conservative leader,
FanDuel.
that basically you can advocate regime change in a European democracy, which, let's remember, in the 20th century was very nearly erased repeatedly by fascists and then by communists. That country suffered so much.
Sports gambling
And in the 20th
now in
century,
Florida
when
for
Hungarians
October.
Here, people in Washington and elsewhere talking about basically them not having a legitimate country and outside powers having to intervene, they get very worried. And I think they're right to feel worried and they're right to feel sore about it.
Here, I must be aggravating people. Sorry, Tucker. Oh, man. Is it Tucker Carlson? Let's see here what happens. Hold on for a second. I got to tell you something. You ready? The ball thing with the foot is a huge hit. And I try everything. And I'm telling you, I know this. My feet feel better. And I have a feeling that that's going to be a direct result of my back going to feel even better. Because if the feet feel better, the back will. Oh yes. I've got the ball right now under my foot. Yeah. I'm sorry. I won't do that again. I won't. Okay, that I promise you I won't do it that late. Yeah, no, I hear you, brother. I'm sorry for putting you out like that. Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. Yeah, best. Yeah. Yeah. I got to say this to this guy, Steven. You'll like this here, Chris. He says that, Dan, just a suggestion, but if you want your old radio station to mention you, just go on a rant about the Padres. Here, Steven, and I just sent this back. Actually, I like many people at 97.3, and I wish them luck. And Steven, not holier than thou, but it's not my deal, It just, it's not my deal to talk trash on people like that. There's a lot of good folks over there. I like them a lot. It was circumstances that were beyond their powers on why I wasn't there. So I think you'll like it, Stephen. Yeah, for some stations, absolutely. But I don't have anything negative to say about those guys. Maybe if I was 20 or 15 years ago in the business, I would call them. Yeah. No. Many of the people now have retired or have been fired. Wow, what a name from the past that is. Dude, we'll welcome the radio with that. Ooh, really? Mancow, the king of Chicago, and that's it. Not long. Seriously, man, that guy was a shooting star, and that ended that. He didn't stick around long. But Mancow, I think he's on. Is he podcast or is he still on the air in Chicago? Oh, he's back on. Wow. Twice. Wow. Hey, you didn't do very well, man. When you change, you. Barry Manilow. Happy Friday and welcome to the Happy Hour of Radio. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Appreciate everybody coming aboard. All good, man. And if you're listening to us in one of our fabulous affiliates across the country, we thank you. And also, if you need to stream the show with USA Radio Networks and the DanSileoShow.com, we thank you. If you're watching us right now, like Steven and Trevor and a bunch of other folks on our YouTube channel, appreciate that, along with our Twitch channel. Thank you. We talk sports. And you see, I do things a little bit differently because, like a guy like my guy Chris O and our management people and my guys are always telling me to aim people at different platforms. So you notice one thing I do differently than everyone else. I don't take phone calls. Because usually 90% of the time, phone calls drive your show into a toilet. So what I do is if you've got a comment or you need to, express yourself, I give you free reign. And I mention it most of the time. If you're on, my social media platforms, YouTube or my Twitter page at Dan Sileo Show, I will always mention what you guys are saying. And Trevor just said, let's go. Let's go. I love it. I got to start it off. You should be excited with this. And my boy Trevor sent this story over. And if you are a sports fan, this came down at 4 o'clock Eastern time, just a couple hours ago. Listen to this. ESPN.com, I'm reading from, that will tell you what the ramifications of this are. Federal officials, the feds, the United States government, approved a deal today, a few hours ago, that will allow Seminole Tribe to operate sports betting and roulette and craps to 7 Florida casinos, with the state potentially receiving $20 billion over the next 30 years. You want to end your state's debt issues? There's 2 things you do nowadays. You know what it is? Grow weed and gamble. How funny is that? Infrastructure? I got your infrastructure in Washington. Gambling, weed. Fastest growing things in America. It's funny, no one sees it. You can end the state debt in New York and in California if you got off your asses with gambling and with weed. Tax it. Governor Ron DeSantis had worked on a gambling compact with the tribe this past spring. It was later approved by Republican-controlled Florida House and Senate. The deal needed final approval by the United States Department of Interior, which it was given to the tribal gaming operations. Holy cow. The final approval of this historic gaming compact is a big deal for the state of Florida, DeSantis said a couple hours ago. This mutually beneficial agreement will grow our economy, expand tourism, recreation, provide billions in new revenue to benefit Floridians. Good night, almighty. Officials said the agreement will generate an estimated $6 billion through 2030 alone. The tribe is not currently making any revenue payments to the state. Now they are. Here, the coastline of Florida, if you own one of those ma and pa hotels, you may be in a position where you may have gaming directly resulting through the Indian tribe in Florida, and you can actually be having gambling in your own hotels. This is incredible. What does this mean for sports now? Holy. So in the state of Florida, you have the Dolphins, you have the Buccaneers, you have the Jags. Do you know what this does for the Tampa Bay Rays? It probably keeps them in Tampa or St. Pete. Do you know what I would do if I was Major League Baseball? I would build here. I got to tell you what they offered the Rays. This was 12 years ago when I was there. Are you ready? The Seminole Indian tribe, the Hard Rock there, which I do a lot of business with, they said to them, the Rays, I'll tell you what, we'll build you a stadium. You don't have to pay for it. It's on our property. The Rays didn't go for it. Now, with gambling and baseball wanting a piece of gambling, this saves the Rays from leaving the Tampa Bay, St. Pete area. You're going to put that baby right there in Hillsborough, right next to the Seminole tribe. And you're going to be able to make legal bets. Be able to bet on the Buccaneers. Holy cow, the amount of money that's going to be generated in that state. Every business on the planet will want to move there. All those New York and California businesses that are they're like an exodus right now from those states. Hey, and you don't pay state income tax. Good grief. It's like another country. Aren't you bringing your business to Florida now? Why would I want my business in California or New York with all the taxes that are going on there? Hey, if I'm Arizona, I work on this same deal here. And now the politicians are going to be coming on this thing too. If I was Texas, I'd be doing everything in my power right now to make sure that I got Indian reservations making money. I'll tell you something that's really cool about the Indian reservations in the state of Florida. They are the most powerful lobbyist people in that state. But I'll tell you this too, they're some of the smartest folks I've ever seen. They knew this day was coming. Like up in Connecticut, they knew this day was coming. You're not going to be a state that's going to be running in the red anymore. You're not. You're just not. Gambling's going to cover it. You want to get some of these states out of troubles when it comes to like high debt ceilings, high taxes. You want to be able to lower taxes for your citizens that live in your state. Here it is. More businesses show up. Gambling's a good thing. Yeah, but what about, degenerate? Who cares? The majority of the people that live in the state of Florida don't gamble. What do you think it's going to turn people? You know what's crazy? Don't think for me. You know what? Don't think for me. I saw that thing with Jen Psaki today trying to tell me that, she was asked the question, do you think that the federal government and doctors should tell kids to wear masks or not? She said, yeah. So instead of your parents, she was under the guise that it's better for the federal government to know what's best for your kids instead of your parents. I was like this. That is the life I don't want. Don't ever tell me or my kids how to live their life. That's not your business. You're over your skis with that. You can set up our economy and you can set up our environment, but don't ever come into my house and tell me how to live. That's not a way to do it. And that's not a way to galvanize people. I was like this. Don't ever tell me what's right for my kid. We'll make that decision. What if there's a religious issue in the house? Muslims have different set of rules and laws and they live by. Catholics, Baptists, everyone live by different sets of laws. What do you think? That's one rule for all? I thought that was insulting. And here, when we're talking about gambling, not everybody's a gambler. I'm not a gambler. I don't gamble. Yeah, sure. Watch this. I go to Vegas sometimes. I go for the buffet, and I go for, what me and my wife spend? A couple $100. Nothing crazy. We don't go nuts. Usually we're there for a fight or something. We have a couple, drinks. We're not nuts with it. We play the slots. We don't play the tables like that crazy. By the way, I lived in Vegas. My guy Chris O lived in Vegas. The majority of the people that live in Vegas don't go to the Strip. Do you know where the most I gambled was? The Piggly Wigglies, the 7-Elevens. I didn't go to the casinos. Everyone knows if you want to make some money in Vegas, you make them on the slots off the Strip. They're set different. What do you think? They build castles on the Strip for a reason. You know what that is? You lose. They didn't build Vegas, and Vegas doesn't look the way it does because they lost money. That's all built on people losing dough. So when you go there, if you know that premise, you try to fight some of the odds. I think those on the Strip, I think they're set at, 65, 68%, where you're going to lose. Off the Strip, it's like 61%, something like that. Everyone knows that. There's like a website that you could take a look at, some of the casinos that have the percentage of winning compared to losing. And most of them are like the little 7-Elevens or mom and pop shops that are off the Strip. People go to Vegas. I'll go to MGM. I'm sure you are, bro. Okay. Hey, I'm up 100. Yeah. Well, you'll be down 4 by the end of the night. That all goes into the coffers of the gambling houses. Now they're going to have to pay NFL teams, baseball teams, hockey teams. They lightly benefit from this. Hell, it wouldn't shock me if one day the Toronto Raptors did end up officially moving to Tampa. Why not? Gambling's legal now. Colleges still to be worked on. This is a big decision here, man. This is a big deal. You have had this infrastructure in the state of Florida in place, God, man, 30 years. 30 years that they've been battling this. Two things they've been battling in Florida to end their state debt. You know what it is? Weed, legalizing of marijuana, and gambling. And you know what's crazy? Everyone's like this now. Well, these are vices. Yeah, really? So's drinking and smoking cigarettes. Those are vices, but they're taxed by the federal government too. Or how about the oxycodones that the federal government got everyone whacked up on, and those CVSs that were selling them like they were candy? Give me a break, man. Don't be so with your head in the sand with things too. This is a big deal for Florida. This is get this. You thought the Southeastern Conference was pilfering the Big 12? The state of Florida now is going to be taking just about every single business from Boston to Philadelphia all the way down the states. All the East Coast are going to want to come to Florida. Coastline, baby. South Carolina will do well. North Carolina will do well. This is going to be a cascade effect. That decision of 2 years ago when they legalized gambling and the Supreme Court came in favor of it, this is just the beginning. Miami is going to be enormous. Get ready. All right. By the way, Dave Campo, the former Dallas Cowboy head coach, will be with us in hour number 2. Josh Allen of the Bills got a big deal. We'll hit on it next. So did you find out any more of what's going on? No, or you didn't want to tell me? Don't talk sharp to me like that. No, don't hate me. Don't talk sharp to me like that. Looky here, man. Don't rub the juju wrong, okay? Because if you rub the juju wrong, you're going to have to deal with this. And, it's not a good thing, I'm going to have to send a guy over. And when Luca Brasi has to take a boat over, you're pretty much in trouble. Kongi Rusa. Jesus criminy. Wow. Well, I know it's just it's like, wow. I mean, look at this guy. Look at this guy. I haven't had to see anybody talk to me like that since when, Johnny? When? 16? Yeah. Right. Well, why don't you make a bunny with your pockets, pulling both your pockets out, and why don't you play with your boy that you play with all the time, the guy with no shirt? I think that's pretty good, right? You and him passing nudes together, They got it really is disgusting. Maybe. Yeah, some guy sent me a picture with no shirt on. He goes, "What do I think?" I go, "Please don't ever do that again. I'm about ready to throw up, guy." And Trevor just went, "Jesus." I know. I was like, I deleted it immediately, just so you know. Oh, I swiped down. I hope that means out. Shit, water. Somebody shows me a picture like that. I'm not offering you anything but a brick. Oh no. He from what I understand, he is in rehab right now. He's like, he's in wrestling rehab. No gimmicks here. Dan Sileo, USA Radio. Oh, I got to tell you this. So, I did something yesterday, and people got mad at me in my business. Oh my God. So, like the little deed or the big lead or whatever it was, they were upset with me. And then now a new one came out, the curve, and then this other one called the heavy. They're all going like this. Well, from what we're understanding, he took massive hell from Philadelphia fans hang on, Trev, for talking about potentially getting rid of a player that they just drafted, Devontae Smith, out of Alabama. And I've learned a massive lesson now. People in my business don't like to be one-upped. I never cared about that. If I heard something and I put it out there, why do people automatically attack that report? Don't you do this if you don't believe a report or you think that story's stupid? You don't read it. In your response and the things that you say, you give it credence because do you care more that I said it or do you even care what the story says? I think I learned this from the way they covered Trump. I don't think the media gave a rat's ass what Trump said. I just think they cared that Trump was talking. It didn't matter what it was. Whether if he thought the virus came from the Wuhan lab or whether or not that, the border, no one cared. It was just he was talking. That's wrong. It's a lie. And you're like, I don't even know if it is. It's like, that's what they did it's a lie. They're not giving up two. And I'm like, okay, relax. And then you know what you had today? You had people saying, no, the Texans aren't taking any calls right now with Deshaun Watson. Think of this for a second. I just see there was a deal between potentially the Eagles and the Texans. I want to ask you a question about sexual assault. Common sense. All of us. Are you ready? If you knew that there was a guy living next to you that was being accused of sexually assaulting 22 people, wouldn't you call the cops? Deshaun Watson lives somewhere in Houston. And I'm sure it's in an affluent area. So we're not talking about not a lot of cops in this particular area. I'm sure there's private security cops. When you make $38 million a year, hello, let me ask you this. If there was somebody that was accused of 22 alleged sexual offenses, wouldn't you want the district attorney and people in Houston to come get this guy? Would you let somebody like that walk around on the street? Of course you wouldn't. So guess what? That's why the story is legit. They are taking calls, but they haven't even gotten into the first week of the exhibition season yet. Okay? They want to pull back and see what they got. Then they'll make some more statements next week. I want to continue this. We're gonna continue it. Josh Allen signed a gigantic deal today. I'll tell you how important that is. Hey, don't forget, check out podcasterwarehouse.com. Headphones, earbuds, 25% off of everything that's on the website. I'm telling you, just go and check the website out. If you are a gamer and you're like my daughter and you love all that, this is your one-stop place. 25% off, as I said. Shipping is free. $5, $5,000. That's as much you could spend. Podcasterwarehouse.com. I just can promise you this. If there was a dude living next to me that was being questioned for sexual assault, I got a daughter. I'd have a problem with that. Wouldn't you? We'll continue. You keep it here on the Dan Sileo Show. Oh. There really is, seriously. Do you know what you just did? That was so absurd. Do you know that I know there are guys like that? I know of guys. Bill Bigby did that. You're right. Oh, no. Here, I'll give you an example here. And people know how I feel. So there was a guy that I worked with in Tampa named Steve Dumig. And we were on the same station for 15 years. He was on a little longer than me. And so he developed like brain cancer. And we just hated one another so bad. And he died like, I think 3 years ago, 2 years ago, whatever it was. And so somebody came to me, and if you're going to ask me about him, I'm not going to hear. I did this. I did it this way. I go, listen, I know his wife. His wife is good people. He's got kids and all that. So, hey, you know what, man? I feel for the family. And they go, no. And then I went like, oh, he died 19. Okay. And then I went like this. They asked me about him, and I go, I'd rather not. I'm going to pass. And by the way, I think it's a dick question you asking me. You know my relationship with the guy. And so I told Rick Stroud that. I go, you know my relationship with that guy. Why are you trying to do that? Why? Because what? Because you know that I'm capable of going off the hook and saying something. I'm not going to say that, man. But I'm not going to say anything good because there was never good between us. Huss, I got to tell you, though, we both did 2 great shows, and he had really good ratings, and so did I. And we must have said 5 words to one another in 15 years. Oh, it was really bad. We'd be sitting in the same meetings, and we wouldn't say a word for like years. Neil was like that, yeah. But hang on. I was on QAM. When Neil died, I took a shift over, actually. No, I took his shift over, and get this, because they were going from Arbitron to the meters. He was down like in the 01s and 3s. I got it up to 4 share in a meet, and get this. No one could believe it. I go, well, Neil just didn't know how to work the meter, I mean, the meter's different than the Arbitron book. You write it in. You've been writing it in forever. Then he started losing some of those people on those that were given the Arbitron books. They took the books away. It wasn't that it was a change from that. They took the books away and went to those meters. That's what screwed up. The only person that didn't screw was Howard. Oh, okay. Then it probably killed Imus. That show was dead. The last 15 years of that show stunk. Yeah, that's correct. Let me tell you something. They're saying this. Let me just say this to you about Imus. Don Imus is the highest billing radio show in radio history next to Rush Limbaugh. He billed, he was one of the highest billers in the history of radio. Yeah, but he was also on FAN. I mean, he was also on WNBC when it was NBC, then FAN. They just kept him there. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. A lot of news around sports. I want to throw something off at you here, too, before I get to Josh Allen. Can I please show you guys, and do me a favor. Do me a favor. Always have an open mind when we're talking about how the league does its business. And this is going to be a prime example of the football fan being a little bit of a wrestling fan. Okay? Here we go. So, yesterday, did you see what the net wealth and the net gains were for the NFL teams as an average for the 32 teams? As a league, the league was up 14%. So what does that mean? All these billionaires' net wealth in 1 year during a pandemic went up 14%. You don't have a checking account in America that could get you more than 1% on your money. Regular old checking account, remember it used to be 2? Now you're lucky to get anything. Checking accounts, you're looking to get rich off checking accounts. That ain't it, right? Hell, how good would you be doing if your 401k was increasing every year at 15%? Right? That'd be pretty good, wouldn't it? That'd be not a bad deal. You want more, obviously? Net wealth up 15%. So guess what the league does, though, and the owners? To show you how they act and how they handle themselves. Then why did the salary cap go down 25%? The cap went down, which meant players lost jobs, coaches lost jobs because of the local revenue that was lost. Yet, the team value and the owner's wealth went up. You took money out of union members' pockets because you had to cut certain people off your roster to get to the $180 million salary cap. Do you understand what they did? They used the pandemic to go cheaper on their salary cap because they lost local revenue. So you know what they did? They fired people. They fired players. They fired employees. And yet their net wealth went up. So when the league is telling you this is a business relationship with the players, no, it's not. Look, you own the team. I'm not saying you shouldn't get gains and you shouldn't reap the benefits. But when an owner comes to you like in Buffalo or in Chicago and wants you to build a new stadium with taxpayer money during a pandemic, and he turns around and goes, hey, I got to do this, and then you go like this to the guy. Well, wait a minute. Your net wealth went up 15%. You're telling me with that 15% over the next 3 years, you can't fund a brand new $2 billion stadium? No, we want you to pay for it. In states like New York, I told you this before, you'll never see an NFL stadium ever in your lifetime ever built again in California or New York. Hell, the Giants and Jets don't play there now. Don't you think that if the Jets and Giants could have had a stadium, maybe where Shea is, there in Queens, that whole giant property where they have the U.S. tennis facility there, where the big globe is, you're telling me you couldn't have put a football stadium there? Never happened. Not going to pay the taxes on that in New York State. Taxes in New Jersey are high enough, but they can't get too crazy and leave the area. Not going to go to Connecticut. Connecticut, they tried that. They got big taxes there too. There's nowhere in the Northeast you can go except New Jersey. And how they got those teams over there to MetLife, they got tax breaks. Okay? Yeah, back in the day, Trevor's right. They wanted to play in New Haven. There was some thoughts way back in the day, but fell on deaf ears because they thought it was more in the Boston and in the Patriots section. Because once you get north of New Haven, it starts to get into Red Sox and Patriot country. And south of New Haven, they wanted to keep all New York and all the Yankee fans. So that's kind of how that whole thing rolled out. They played at the Yale Bowl while they had to leave Yankee Stadium for a while. Anyway, to sit there and listen to the McCaskey family, well, we need a new stadium and that has to be on the back of taxpayers. Really? You just gained 15% in net wealth. And you're trying to tell people who have lost net wealth, we're going to raise your taxes for a stadium or your gas taxes. How dumb. How rude. How rude on top of that, right? To sit there and go like this, you're going to reap all the benefits. We're going to build you a moat, and I don't get the benefits of it except taxes. Oh, wait, peace of mind that I help keep you in Buffalo and in Chicago? That's when you start to do this. I don't care if you move. I'll root for you. You could go to Pluto as far as I'm concerned. I'll root from you there. That's what I would do. I'd be like this. Hey, man, you're not going to take my love away from being a Bills fan. And if you can't be here, I'm not having that affect my family because you want me to build you up. Wouldn't that be great if you could go to billionaires and do this? I got a 4-bedroom design. Would you build me a house? Guy'd laugh you out of the room, wouldn't he? You imagine walking into, Donald Trump's office. Hey, President Trump, could you build me a 4-bedroom? Be really great. It's going to be Encinitas, you can see the water if it's high enough. It's really great. It'll probably have massive value in a couple of years. Can you help me build it? What are you going to, why would I do that? Exactly. You need to ask the billionaire the same question he asked you. Hey, can you build me a house? Why would I? Exactly. It's easy. Listen, I know I'm not the smartest oyster in the ocean. I can't be. But I would ask him the same thing. So you want me to do that for you? Well, I'll tell you what. What's my benefit from it? That you stay here? Hey, dude, I'm lucky I can pay my bills now. Okay? No way. Absolutely no way. Now, I'm going to give you a comment here about that. And tell me if you can kind of see, that's how I believe. I don't believe American taxpayers or people that live in communities should pay for these stadiums. I just don't. Not with the amount of, you know what, maybe 50 years ago, 40 years ago, when these teams weren't so wealthy and sports, and now with gambling coming into the mix, like this, why in the world would you ever go to taxpayers in Hillsborough County and Tampa and anywhere like Duval County to maybe build a stadium for the Jags or Dade County, Dade or Broward? Why would you go to any of those taxpayers and go, we need you to build a new stadium for the Dolphins? Why? You've got gambling. You can go to the Seminole tribe and work a deal out with them with gambling. Why does it have to be on me? And you know what? They probably will. Let them be in business. As long as the tickets aren't through the roof, let them be in business. Right? But I got to show you something here. It's pretty slick of the Bills. And the timing is interesting. Tell me if you think the timing's interesting here. So, you know what happened last week, right? Chris, maybe you know. What's the newspaper in Buffalo? The Buffalo News? Is that what it is? I forget what the newspaper is up there. I think it's like the Buffalo. I don't think it's the Review. I think it's like the Buffalo News. It is. It's the Buffalo News. They came out last week. And remember what do you remember when they were talking about this new stadium? They went like this. We would like our Bills Mafia family to understand that the Pagula family wants to keep this team here. By the way, that was part of the requirements to keep the team in Buffalo for them to purchase it from the Ralph Wilson family. Ralph Wilson was the original owner of the Bills. One of the prerequisites to sell the team, because remember, Trump was actually in the hunt to try to buy that team. And there were a bunch of TV stars and musicians that were trying to buy that team as well. And they wanted to move it, Toronto, somewhere else. And part of the requirement was they had to keep Bon Jovi. That's it, Trevor, right. Bon Jovi wanted to try to buy the team. The Pagulas got it. I believe they own, if I'm not mistaken, the Sabres too. So they get the team. They promise that they're going to keep the team there. Last week, they say, we want you to build it with taxpayer money. Okay. Shot across the bow. That was a big deal for the Bills Mafia because everyone knows it's one of the greatest fan bases in the country. You know what they did today? They gave Josh Allen, the guy they drafted a couple of years ago, a $258 6-year $1 million deal with $100 to $125 million in guarantees. Do you understand? $125 million in guarantees. This is a bigger guaranteed deal than Dak got. This is big. Big money. To me, you know what they did? Here's a guy they went like this to. Hey, Buffalo, I told you we want to build a team. We want to build a team that you're going to be proud of. We're taking our money and we're investing in the team. We're expecting you to invest in the team too by giving us a stadium. It's pretty slick, isn't it? Not that they wouldn't have given the kid the contract. Not that they wouldn't have given it to him. Okay? They would have. Hey, and if you go back a couple of years, you know, Baker Mayfield was in that draft. Josh Rosen was in that draft. I mean, there's some pretty good quarterbacks that were in that draft, if I'm not mistaken. You know, I mean, Lamar Jackson was in that draft. Sam Darnold was in that draft. And if you had to do it all over again, hey, you know, Josh Rosen could and maybe be the number one pick along with Lamar Jackson in that draft. So what the Bills did was, though, look at the timing here, how they did it. Last week, they were getting hammered. I hammered them. This week, they're being praised by Bills Mafia. That's how you work a fan base. Well, you know, last week wasn't really good. You know, they asked us for all that money. And look what they did this week, man. It's like wrestling fans. Look at how they're playing with your emotions on that. Oh, crazy. But, dude, this thing's going to cost $2 billion. Yeah, they just spent $250 million on the quarterback. Listen how dorky that sounds. Yeah, but what's coming out of my wallet? The quarterback's salary's not. It Trev's more like $4 billion for that. In New York, yeah, you're right. I should double it. You're right, New York. And remember something. When something is somewhere else $2, It's $5 in New York. He's right. It's $5. How you doing? Right? That's it's $5. It's pretty slick how they did that, though. They got beat up. Everybody, articles everywhere. Another team talking about fleecing its fans, raising season tickets. They'll do all that stuff to you, too. You know what we do as football fans? We don't care. We just do this. Yeah, I know. But, hey, I like the Bills. No, hey, I love the Bills. And I agree. I think it's the best fan base. It is. It's the best fan base in the NFL. They're crazy about that team. Okay? All right. Well, maybe I could kick up $5 to build a guy a castle in his own moat, in his own, like, Cinderella gate. You know, dude, man, NFL, they're heartless, man. They are. All right. Hey, do me a favor. Make sure you go to my friend's podcasterwarehouse.com website. Great place for your headphones, earbuds. Gamers, this is your one-stop place. Use the promo code Sileo, S as in Sam, ILEO, 25% off of everything there. Shipping is free. $5 to $5,000. This is what you could spend. Podcasterwarehouse.com. Build me a stadium. Oh, yeah, we just gave your quarterback $100 million in guarantees. So what? Jimmy Johnson going into the Cowboy Ring of Honor. We'll hit on that next. Yes. I'm looking over at my couch right now. A nice section where I can put my head. Did you hear what Joe Rogan just said? Oh. Oh, that's awesome. Really went on a show that had 11 million people listen to and said that vaccines are causing COVID mutations. And the reason scientists aren't talking about it is because they're afraid of getting canceled. We are all going to die. Spotify gave that guy $100 million. Man. Dude, that is so. You're not a doctor, bro. I'm staying away from that. I don't want anything to do with it. No way. That's dumb, man. That's going to be suicidal career You know what I've learned in my radio career? Dan Sileo, USA Radio. Don't pretend you're an expert on anything. Pretend that you have massive opinions on everything, though. Not pretend. You do. Just comment on everything. Shouldn't say pretend. Bad choice of words. Known in my career to have done that before in the past. Thank you. I'm not even going to, I'm sure because social media is now where everything's trending. There's just certain things you stay away from. You know what that is? Telling people how to live their life. You know what I will never do on our show? I will never tell you in any way possible to ever do this. Hey, do something like get vaccinations. That's not for me. And quite frankly, it's not really anybody else's place. You have no right to tell anybody how to live their life. I don't care what Jen Psaki says. You don't. You're not elected to do that. But you know what you're also not allowed to do? I say this, allowed to do. You know what else I think you're not morally inclined to do? Is make just some crazy hypothesis up about the mask and the vaccines. Just to come out and just make just an open-ended lie about it. And you just, how about this? You know what? And Chris and I were just talking because somebody just made an asinine comment and made an ass of himself, and there'll be massive collateral damage on this. And he's a well-known guy. And I'll say this to you. I just know that kind of stuff right there, that's what totally gets you canceled. When you're just making things up like that can affect people in the way people live their life. You know what? And some would go, well, he's got more balls than you, Sileo. That's not anything to do with onions. That's reckless stuff that I always talk to you about on where we are with the media today. It's funny, Chris goes like this, hey, what could get us a reaction today? You know, that worked back 30 years ago. That was great. That's how people did radio back then. You know, the bits that shock people? You can't do those any longer. But you can't say dumb things on the air any longer either. Especially when they consider you a conservative in some aspects. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's just the money that people generate. That's what keeps some people on the air. Tucker Carlson's on the air because, you know why? Tucker's show makes a lot of money for Fox. It's totally, you know, I make a stupid comment, they yank me off the air in 5 seconds. I'm what they call, you know, well, he's just damaging the whole cancel culture time. No one cares. It's okay. I understand that, though. So if you understand that, don't throw yourself in the fire. You know, if I'm going to light myself on fire, okay, I'm going to try to do everything I possibly can not to do that. I'm not going to throw myself in the pit. Okay, I'm not going to do that. Look, I'm all about being on the edge. You know this. That's how I've lived my entire radio career. Race, religion, and politics. You see, you know what's funny? Chris was just saying to me, he goes, you know, say something crazy. You know what you don't have to do when you're talking race, religion, and politics? You don't really have to have any bit. What made Rush Limbaugh so great and why his content carried the day and he didn't have to talk about TNA like Howard did was because the content he had infuriated people. His insults to Obama versus Howard Stern's TNA talk. One's trashy, the other one, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe he just said that and what he just called Barack Obama. You know, he called Barack Obama something that I, to this day, have never said on the radio, nor will I. I don't know. How's that guy get away? He used to call him in every day. And I used to go like this. Wow, he must make a lot of money for that radio company. He must make a killing. All right. A lot of news going on when it comes to Deshaun Watson. We got a little bit of an update on what's being said, and Nick Caserio and the general manager of the Texans. Dave Campbell, the former head football coach of the Dallas Cowboys, will be in Canton this weekend. We're going to talk to him. That's all in hour 2. You keep it here on the Dan Sileo Show. Be right back. That's going to hurt Rogan. Dude, that's gonna hurt Rogan. That's gonna hurt Rogan. Yep. Because I don't like anything good. I like greatness. You like those common words. Wow, that's sad. Oh, stop. Oh, my God. Whew, man, I'm going to have to get you buy you a teddy bear. I'm going to have to get I'm going to have to hopefully get my teddy bear so that, we get an account there so that I can send you one. You can hug it at night. By the way, Chris, I can't tell you how that ball thing made my foot hurt a lot. It made my foot hurt, made me feel really good. I didn't realize that how I'd not had any, pressure put on my foot. It took some pressure points on it. It was great. Wow. Huh. Killer. No, just good advice. That's all it is. That's all you get. Jesus, you give a guy a compliment, you think he wants the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. No, I do dig it. Oh, no. I know that. I'm from the original tool bag. I get it. Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me, man? Holy cow. I'm a professional tool bag. Okay. Hey, Stanley Steamer doesn't have anything on big stills. Always. Oh, yes. Bang! Big sills. Hope everybody's having a good Friday here. Yeah, I just got a text message. I got to say this to you. Okay, so I have a YouTube producer that just sent me this story from This Heavy, and I was talking about it in the last hour here. And this guy, here's the headline. Eagles trade offer for Deshaun Watson revealed in report. And I got to read you a little bit of this. And this is what this guy decided to write today. The smoke billowing out of Houston is getting too intense, and we can no longer ignore it. Deshaun Watson misses third straight practice. Gee, really? Why do you think Deshaun Watson misses third straight practice? Can I tell you why? They're afraid that guy may get hurt and they lose value on the guy. Let me put my new glasses on here. Reports are swirling that the Philadelphia Eagles continue to mention in the trade, although the accuracy on a bunch of them remains questionable. NFL Media's Kim Jones says there's not much to the Eagles' rumors, while Fox Sports' Jay Glazer reported that the Texans have stopped returning calls from teams interested in Watson. Meanwhile, Dan Sileo, wait, who? Hey, he's got a blue verified check. Provided detailed information on a trade offer sending Watson to Philly. The asking price? Da-da-da-da. Crazy, right? There's a good chance it's a hoax. Sileo immediately felt the wrath of Eagle fans. I did. And media members. I did put a little rant out, though. It was quite cool. On Twitter, who lambasted his previously false reporting. It seems the South Florida sports talker, I'm not a South Florida sports talker, has been wrong more than once. Really? You mean like the Washington Post or the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal or Newsweek? I just came out of 4 years of watching news organizations lie their way all the way to January 20th. Really? And you got to me and my business, this is a W. That's what my YouTube producer just said. This is what we call a W. It is. I had previously broken a story not less than 3 days earlier that Carson Wentz was going to need surgery on a Friday. Monday it came out, he was having surgery. I reported it on Friday. This is what I tell you, how some people in our business, whether it be mainstream media or my profession in sports, they don't like to be one-upped. I'll tell you something else that's done something. You know what? Tell me if you agree with this. When Twitter and Facebook first came out years ago, do you know what I said about it? What it would do to the media industry? It would make him irrelevant. It would make him completely irrelevant. You know, guys that cover the White House? Do you know why people in the media hated Donald Trump so much? Because Trump went to the citizens using the platform. There was no reporters. He just went to the people. Nobody could dissect what he was saying. He didn't need you. That's why everyone wanted him off the platform. It made media people that covered him irrelevant. Who cares what Peter Ducey says from Fox? Or Jim Acosta says at CNN? Who cares what they say? Trump went right to the American public. Nobody likes that in my business. When you can go right to the public and put something out like that. See, these media people get aggravated that they didn't put it out. By the way, I've got a guy on Monday that I'm going to be talking earlier in the day on my YouTube show, the National Football Show. His name is John McClain, and he's been writing for the Houston Chronicle for like 35 years. And I respect him so much. He'll clarify everything for us. See, what I try, you know what's funny? Chris, you know this better than what you're doing when you're covering a story, you're telling a story as the story is unfolding. What you never want to do as a media person is you never want to keep regurgitating the same story over and over again, because then you know what you're going to get. You're going to get your producer in your ear going, please move on. I heard this Wednesday. You try to develop stories. You grow a story. I know that today that's not really fashionable to do because it's about clicks and being first. That's not what I'm about. I'm about, most importantly, I'm more about entertaining. I want to entertain you more than be. Hey, watch this. Hey, do I embellish? Yes. I'm not a journalist though. Did Rush embellish? Of course he did. Do you play with the facts? Politicians do it every day. No harm, no foul. They do it. Your life's in their hands. Your life's not in my hands. But it's funny, you hold me higher than you hold them sometimes. And yet your life is in their hand. You got your life in their hands. How crazy is that? Put your life in the hands of some media jackass. Well, I'm going to get vaccinated because John Doe on the radio in Baltimore, WMAL, said, hey, you should get vaccinated. How dumb is that? I took the advice of, I'm going to take my husband and my wife's advice, my kids' advice, maybe my preacher's advice. You know, I think this goes back to how I was raised. I didn't have idols except my pop. My grandfather was my idol. My grandmother there, and of course my aunt. The only people in life that could tell me things I don't want to hear. I don't like very many of those people, but they tell me what I don't want to hear all the time. Wife does it too. But I like people like that in my life. I do. I need people like that. It's called balance. You can't be told everything you want to hear every day, because before you know it, you're living a lie. And that's kind of how, we live today. These stories that we had on Deshaun Watson. So wait a minute, let me get this right. I said this last time to you too. So you believe that a guy that's been accused of 22 sexual cases of assault should be on the streets in Houston, Texas, one of the biggest cities in the country. He would be a sexual predator. Watch this. I'm not saying he has. I'm just saying how this sounds. If you knew that a guy had 22 cases against him for allegedly abusing women, would you not think he's a detriment to society and you'd want him off the street? Why hasn't he been taken off the street? Why hasn't he even been charged? Why hasn't the NFL put him on the commissioner's exempt list? Why hasn't the NFL Players Association said anything? Why is the Texans not saying anything? Do you find it weird or fishy or all of it? How don't you look at that story and not go, if that were you or me, we'd be under the jail. I would have been fingerprinted months ago. And get this, my reputation, what I do have left, would have been even more destroyed. Right? I mean, hey, dude, you could be accused of a lot of things. Sexual assault and sexual harassment. Like Andrew Cuomo, dude, that guy's, his career's over. Wait a minute, I shouldn't say that, because you know why? He will have a new show on CNN soon. If Jeffrey Tobin can have a job on CNN, Andrew Cuomo will be on CNN. There's nothing that network's not capable of doing. Okay? They are not there to tell you the news. They're there for clickbait. They're there for sensationalism. They are the National Enquirer of news channel networks. When Jeffrey Tobin, a guy who's on a Zoom call, a pervert, is doing that stuff, I don't know. That's not really a lot of credibility that I'm going to be listening to anything that guy says when it comes to covering a sexual assault case. Jesus criminy. I mean, really, if you had a vomit bag, wouldn't you have been vomiting listening to him talking? It's one thing, and it's insulting. It's insult. You know what? Having Jeffrey Tobin talking about sexual assault cases on CNN is insulting to women. It's insulting to my daughter. That's what I say about the news, okay? These folks don't cover stories, and they get pissed when they get one up. That's why I said social media. Of all the people that are the worst upset about social media, it is the media. They call it media. And when you call right? Do you know what the President of the United States, Donald Trump, did for Twitter? He validated it as a news source, didn't he? Prior to Trump, people looked at what was trending and what was on Twitter as this. Oh, this is what everyone's saying. But when Donald Trump went there and started talking about things and policy, it became a news source, didn't it? If anything, Facebook and Twitter should bend over backwards for the guy because he validated him. He did. He validated him. But in the process, he made him irrelevant. That's why they're monitoring you. That's why they are taking certain people off the platform now. Because you know why? When you put something out there that no one else is saying, like when you start talking about vaccinations and you start saying things like Joe Rogan said tonight, and you start going down that lane, Joe Rogan's next. He's a powerful guy. You think Twitter and Facebook can afford to have that guy saying something completely opposite of what's on the platforms? Joe Rogan he's a short-termer on Twitter. That is destined. So, like I said, just in me throwing a story out about Deshaun Watson and the Texans and the Eagles had articles written about me and hoax and never breaks it, which is not true. But it's a narrative that they have to sell to kind of like denigrate things that I've done or said. And it's easy. Why? Well, because of my colorful past. May have something to do with that. It's an easy target. It's okay. I accept that. I've made that. I text my guy back and I just said, Grand Slam win tonight. Boom. Home run. You mentioned my name and my show and my radio show. I got both my platforms mentioned and me in a sports story. I want to hit on JJ, Jimmy Johnson, and Jerry Jones. We'll do it next. What? You must think I'm somebody. Jesus criminy. I'd feel creepy now with you. Okay. Well, because you're stupid. Oh, so you see, you just dropped the name on me now. And so you had to one up it, didn't you? Oh, well, no. You're being stupid right now. You're talking stupid stuff to me about giving you don't give me anything. Really? Like Winston Churchill would say, really? What are you going to do now? Break down in tears? Hey, can you imagine me? Listen, though. Oh, completely having fun. Oh, my God. But Chris, I used to do that on a serious note with people I didn't respect that were like PDs and stuff. Guy would go like this. Look at this. I swear to you. I'm drawing circles. This guy goes like this. What are you doing? I go, well, you guys are talking about PPM and thinking you know how to do drag teases and stuff like that. And I go, what's your station again? Oh, it's Thunder. That's right. You guys did a 2-share. I did a 7-share. Okay. And get this, that was in 1834. I did a 7-share. Aren't those the kiddies you're trying to get? Well, they're over talking to me now. And this is little old Dan on an AM. I think you know what you're talking about. Not having a fit. I was telling you the way I was talking. Shut up. Jesus criminy. What are you, a psychologist? Remind me of that guy with the short arms. Okay, 2 quick lefts. It's over. Oh, he is. I found out he had one nut too. Yep. Stop crying. I mean, once again, you get all my attention. Don't worry, sweetness. You can never put two veteran radio guys together because we'll be like swimming in our sorrows by the end of the show. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Really, man, I need to see the Pontiff, man. I need to have a couple Hail Marys and maybe get communion on this, man. You know, we're like we do these. By the way, real quick here, Dave Campo, former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, will be with us in a couple minutes. We'll talk to him. It's a great weekend. Jimmy Johnson is going to have his speech. Jimmy Johnson gets his jacket today, which is really cool. He gets to put it on. It's jacket night. You officially – then get this, though. I heard they take it back from you. Okay? They take it back from you. But, yeah, don't put radio guys together because we're sitting around talking how your bosses talk to you in our business. So if you're on our YouTube, our Twitch channel, we appreciate everybody watching that. So, yeah, we have kind of like 2 or 3 shows going at once, along with our fabulous radio show. You know, mentioning Jimmy Johnson, I was really glad to see that Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson are trying to make amends for the disaster that they created in Orlando years ago and decades ago. What could have been? What could have been? Think about what happened between the owner and the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Failure did not break them up. Success did. Isn't that the ultimate crime? Look, marriages, businesses, business relationships, most of the time we have a divorce in that. You may like somebody, but hey, the eye in the sky don't lie, or numbers don't lie, or revenue, or whatever. Somebody buys a company. There's all circumstances that could take you out of that relationship, right? But God, when success takes you out of it, don't you kick yourself? Don't you look back? If you're Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys, and Jimmy Johnson, don't you regret this? Jesus, man. We really couldn't control ourselves that much. We had to act like we were high school kids. That's what happened. And last night, Jerry Jones said that Jimmy Johnson's going into the Cowboy Ring of Honor. Probably going to happen this year now. But I thought it was funny on how he phrased it. Jimmy was asked, and everybody was wanting, we're going to be in the Ring of Honor. I personally think Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson are going to go into the Ring of Honor of the Dallas Cowboys together. And that's the way Jerry wants it. He wants to go in to the Ring of Honor together. And you know what? I would be okay with that. And I think Jimmy would be okay with that. Both of those guys going in on the same year because of what they did. Why not? Hey, would you not say that Jerry Jones is the most affluential Dallas Cowboy owner of all time? Right? Clint Murchison, Bum Bright, all the people that owned the Cowboys in the past in Dallas, not even the Hunt family could buy the Cowboys. You're telling me you don't think Jerry's the best owner in the history of that team? He's got more Super Bowls than anybody else. He should go in too. Hey, Do me a favor, check out our great friends at podcasterwarehouse.com. Headphones, earbuds, everything. You're going to get them there for you. Gamers, this is going to be your one-stop place. Promo code Sileo, S as in Sam, ILEO. Shipping is free, 25% off of everything. $5 to $5,000. Podcasterwarehouse.com. Podcasterwarehouse.com. One of my dear friends, the former head football coach of the Dallas Cowboys. By the way, he's got 3 Super Bowl rings. You know that? He worked with Jimmy Johnson. We'll talk to the former head coach, Dave Campo. He's next. You keep it right here on the Dan Sileo Show. I'm gonna go take a Chris, and then I'll be back with my O'Sullivan. I'll be right back.
what their record says they are. They're a just slightly better than 500 baseball team right now.
So that's what I was trying to say. I'm trying to clarify as easy as I can. They have 32 wins against those teams, the bad ones. If they had a similar record, like a 40 wins, like the Giants and Dodgers do, they would only be 3 games out of first place instead of 7.5.
This is why this weekend
And the next
against
2 weeks,
Arizona, right? This is what it all starts here. They got to start making the Padres are right what their record says they are. They're a just slight.
Understand something, kid. I'm so sick of this with you. You may talk to those simps that, okay, seriously, you may talk to those simps that think well, what how am I doing? What I mean, we actually, well, you schooled me off that though. You said stop it, and I never did it again. Yeah, but you know what though, Chris? I know a billion people in our business who do that. Yeah, I know. It's you love it so much, but you're not real sure of your own talent when you say that. I know. See, instead of going like, then you go like this, then you're like, okay. I mean, like I said, man, unless it's dicky advice, I always try to inspire people to give me advice. I'll be like, yeah, I don't think so, kid. I'll be like, I don't think so. I think I've actually probably done this longer than you. Oh, yeah, hi, this is. Yeah, well, look at what's his name, Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck is spinning like Stones and Springsteen tunes. All of a sudden, now he's the expert on conservatism. Oh, okay, really? So, as long as it's true. And if you ever say, but listen, if you ever said anything to you, go like this. Yeah, but you never heard anybody say I didn't like you. Correct. And nor should you. Or the former PR rep for the Kansas City Royals. Right. Thank you, Coach Campo, for coming aboard, former Dallas Cowboy head coach. I always like those little subtle, you're one of the greatest players in the history of the University of Miami program. Oh, really? And, I take that one bite and I turn it into like, it's like this. Hey, did you hear that bite? Yeah, but I heard him talking about Dak. No. Me. Did you hear him say what he said about me? Oh, God. I guess it's the insecurity of a radio guy. And that's the story of my next. No, that's the title of my next book. How I was so insecure about my job. How am I doing? Do they like me? What do you think of my show? Wait a minute. Wait. Yeah, it's good. Here, watch this. Here's radio guy. Here, watch this. Oh, here we go here. Hey, do the bosses like me? Wait. Hey, if you have any advice, I'm always open. I just want you to have your input so that we can be on the same page. Here's another one. Host to. Hey Chris, if you got a little time, could you maybe just give me some pointers? And by the way, Is management like me? How are the sales guys doing? Do they like me too? Anything. No, or this one. What did he mean by he wanted to see me next week? I hope for absolutely. Yep. Kadon? Okay. I've done on my oh God, I of course. right. Yeah. Oh. No, but Chris, I want to show you, but in sports and in football, I swear to God, yes, D linemen, O linemen, wide receivers, and by the way, people like Odell Beckham Jr., will go to their position coaches and go like this: "How am I doing? Is everything okay? Are you guys happy with my play?" Chris, the same things that I said to my D-line coach, I said to my program director, and there's no difference because here they're evaluation jobs, dude. I mean, listen, no disrespect, it's got really nothing to do with whether you see. What people miss in sports and in this business, this has nothing to do with whether you like the guy or not. You know what? If it's even where you have to keep right, you can. Okay, but it comes down to completely production and if the guy can move the needle and if he's good or whatever. It's got nothing to do whether you. But you know what? You're always doing this. Hey, do you think Ray Perkins likes me? I mean, he drafted me. I mean, am I doing everything right? I know that I didn't really play well. Relax. Don't worry about that. Just play. And I can't tell you how hard that is to get over. Don't. Not me. Or he's spinning the Rolling Stones. and he's telling me to take the shot. Yeah. I mean, hey, I was the PR director for the Royals, but hey, listen to me. Democrats suck. What? Right. Hey, George Brett's up. Oh, man. Oh, man. Really crazy. We'll reset on this Friday. You keep it here on the Dan Sileo Show. People will be crying all night long on your shoulder. All right, dog. I love you, man. I'll talk to you. Thank you. You too, brother. Yeah, everything's great, man. Thank you. I'll talk to you later. Will do, man. Bye. That was funny.